What's up, Cooksy Mob? How about that race yesterday? Damn! Ty Masterpool absolutely crushed it. He stuck it to Cooper Webb, Aaron Plessinger, Dylan Ferrandis. He gave those guys fits. And trust me, when those guys go back to the pits, to their engineers, their trainers, and all their endless resources, it doesn't go over well when a guy sponsored by Supercuts passes you late in a moto. It's not good. That's why they rode their asses off. They pushed far harder than they wanted to on that gnarly track. And now James Stewart said some stuff about the bike, about it being an advantage. Oh my gosh. I love JS7. He's off. He doesn't know what he's talking about on this one. Do not listen to JS7. It's not an advantage to have a privateer bike. I don't care what he says. If they miss their setup, they miss their setup. It's not an advantage. He might have had a better setup, but trust me, it's not an advantage. I'm going to talk a little bit about the starting grids, and I think that's why we're seeing these nasty first turn crashes. I'll explain a little bit about that. And Danger Boy hauling ass out there, but he rode a little different. He got to that old school, I'm going to take people out type riding, which that can be taken two ways, and I'm going to explain my opinion on the way Hayden Deegan was riding. So, all right, guys, thank EBC Brakes. EBC Brakes, without them, I wouldn't be doing these podcasts. They kick ass. They've been with me forever. Brake pads, rotors, brake lines, you name it, they've got it. Complete Racing Solutions, Coach Rob, smartest man in this industry when it comes to physical fitness, building a stronger, more durable athlete. His programs start at $22. Head on over to CompleteRacingSolutions.com and check out. He's got a program for you. Epic Garage Designs. Check out all the Epic Garage Design stuff. Flooring, Epic Blinds, you name it. And if you're in Las Vegas, if you ever come through here, come check out the studio. It's awesome. Come say hi. Check out where I shoot my videos. Check out the studio, the cabinets, the flooring, and you're going to want to do your garage up. So, and then Strapped, guys, my favorite goggle company. Strapped is awesome. We gave away a set of goggles last week to a commenter. I'm going to give another one. Every week I'm going to give away a set of goggles to the best comment that I read on YouTube. Typically I'm going to go with informed and opinionated. That's what I want. I want informed. I want logical. I do not want name calling. If you're going to name call, you're out instantly. But all right, guys, let's get into this thing.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So I got to start with Ty Masterpool, and that ride was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I 100% think that he just rode his ass off. The kid is super talented. He probably should be a factory rider. Him and Derek Drake both have been, they're both winners at Loretta Lynn's. They both have very storied amateur careers, and they ride their asses off, and they're very talented. And with a few different circumstances, both those guys will probably be on factory teams, but I love to see them fighting back. Masterpool's got, I don't know why he can't land somewhere and stay, but hopefully he can put a couple of these together. Every once in a while we just see these great performances out of him, but we don't really see him back it up week in and week out. If he can put together 2, 3, 4 of these, wow, we got ourselves a contender again. Derek Drake has been through one of the most horrific things I've ever seen, where he's had the heart problem, injuries. I tried to get with him last year and tell his story, but he's such a humble guy. He didn't even want to tell his story. He's like, nah, I just want to race. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, fair enough then. But Derek Drake is a great story. Grant Harlan fighting his ass off. Grant Harlan is the modern day Weston Pike. Grant Harlan fights and fights and fights. And now to say these guys have a bike advantage in Colorado, I'm sorry, James Stewart, but that's just not accurate. That's not accurate. The thing about a factory team is they show up with multiple sets of suspension. They've got engineers, they've got data, they've got all this stuff. When you show up at a track, and if you're off, yes, there's a few sessions, but they had press day. They've been to Colorado before. They know what to expect. You're trying to tell me they can't soften the bike? What? That's ridiculous. James, I love you, but and I love that you're willing to put that out there, but that's ridiculous that they can't soften their bikes up and that a privateer has an advantage. Yes, maybe by accident they may have hit a better setup, but if a privateer shows up with their limited resources, and this is where James, not ever being a privateer, doesn't understand how limited the resources are on these privateer teams. They'll have one bike, one set of suspension, and they go and they can change a couple of clickers. That's about it sometimes. where these factory teams can change ECUs, they can change anything they want to. And if they get lost because of that, that doesn't mean the privateer's an advantage. It's not an advantage. I don't think that's why Masterpool and these guys were up there. But maybe, I mean, Masterpool did have a good setup, but you can't, he's still not at an advantage. I'm sorry, the factory bikes are, you're at a disadvantage on a privateer bike. I don't care what you say, James. If you went out there on Masterpool's bike and then you got to ride AC's bike, trust me, I 100% believe James would race AC's bike over Masterpool's bike. He'd be like, oh man, he did it on this. But for these privateers, they don't know what could be better, so they have this mentality of ride what you have and ride the wheels off of it. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. And they have hope. More importantly, these guys they have hope. They're getting up there in the top 10. I think it's more than a bike setup thing, which I think that was beat to death on the broadcast. It's hope, confidence. Confidence breeds confidence. Winning breeds winning. And when these guys are getting in the top 10, they feel like they should be in the top 10. And then they're closer to these top guys. And they're like, wow, they believe. Scariest thing you can give an athlete is belief and hope. They believe and hope they can get up there in the top 5 and the top 3. And they're going to cause fits for these guys. These guys better dial it in and start smashing them, or these privateers are going to be giving them fits all year long. And you take a guy like Grant Harlan, he's a modern day Weston Pike. He believes he should be in the top 5. And sooner or later, this guy's going to get a factory ride. He's got the cardio. He's got the grit. He does it week in and week out. He's been doing this since the end of Supercross, guys. This isn't new. Masterpool, yes, it's kind of new. He come in one race. If he can duplicate it, that'll be awesome. But like Grant Harlan's been doing this for a while. It's pretty cool. So, Jet, boy, you know, if it wasn't for these privateers, that was some of the best racing I've seen in a long, long time. If it wasn't for these privateers forcing, you know, Adam Cincerillo, Cooper Webb, Plessinger, and Ferrandis to ride their asses off, this would have been a boring race. But it was one of the most exciting races I've seen. I actually forgot Jet that was out front. Like, it didn't even matter. He's so good. Yeah, I should probably just buy out of the bet with Johnny Hopper. I'm going to owe him $200. So, yeah, it is what it is. And that's another guy. Check out Johnny's video. Johnny's more technical than I am. And I kind of defer to him on the privateer bike issue because I'm like, well, okay, really? And then
everything's going well because the excuse was the suspension. Privateer bikes are set up softer, so therefore they're going faster. I'm like, guys, you guys have all this R&D. You don't think you could revalve the motorcycle to basically stock again if the privateers have such a big advantage?
Go check out. He did a video right after the race. He also thinks it's not accurate. And it's funny how he had a screenshot of after the race with the 3 factory guys congratulating each other and then Masterpool on the outs. They're like, wait a second. They did not like that guy up there, making them look bad. And that's the first time I've seen a brake check in a while. Aaron Plessinger straight brake checked Masterpool, like, dude, leave me alone. Like, he made his life a living hell. And you could tell in that second moto, Plessinger was like, I'm having none of this. I'm just going to get away from these guys early so they don't have hope at the end of the race. Hope is what, if you give these privateers hope, they're going to go to a level that they haven't seen before. And I think that's why Masterpool made that mistake in the last lap and let Ferrandis get by for third. He's just not used to having that pace for the whole race and being right there. And you're getting an extra effort from these factory guys because they do not want to get beat by Masterpool. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it for the 450s. It's all about the privateers. And then let's get into the 250s and talk about Hayden Deegan and some of these guys. So the 250 class, Hunter Lawrence has established himself. He's clearly the best guy. He's the only guy that can consistently go through the pack, salvage a bad start. He's managing the races much like his brother does or did. It's his championship to lose. Justin Cooper fought his ass off, won the first moto, looked to be on his way to the second moto, made a mistake, but it was big what he did in that second moto. And once again, I love James Stewart in the booth. James Stewart is absolutely awesome in the booth, and he nailed this one spot on, saying for Justin Cooper how important it was for him not to just settle around in 10th and to battle back up. He needs to prove he can do that to truly be a contender, because there's going to be motos where you have to do that no matter what. You're not going to whole shot every moto, in particular with these stupid start grates. These start grates, I was undecided on them when they started it, but then I thought about it and I've watched these incidents. These incidents aren't 100% the grate. But anytime you make it, think about how fast you go. Get on one of those little scooters with the little wheels, go 10 miles an hour, then go 20 miles an hour, and tell me the difference in speed. When you launch these guys off of a grate, you're giving them 5 to 10 miles an hour more at the end of that straightaway because they got such a good launch. There's endless traction. The factories want it because they can just dial in an ECU and it's set for every track. You don't have to have, there's not as many variables to get the start. And now you're getting guys, everybody's getting a good jump. So as the thing funnels, they're all side by side. Way more chance of locking bars and having these catastrophic crashes. In 2 weeks, I've seen 2 of the worst first turn crashes in years, back to back. Maybe it's an anomaly. I don't think it is. I think it has a lot to do with the grates and everybody getting a good jump and being next to each other. I think that's a problem, and I think they need to go back to dirt as soon as possible, and I honestly think they should get rid of paddle tires. I think they should go with the shorter knobs, but that's a whole different argument. But grates, I think that's part of the reason. And I'm not mad at it. I mean, you got to try stuff, but just from what I've seen in 2 weeks, how many guys have we lost? Poor Gilliam Ferris went off with his arm. Poor Jet Reynolds. I don't know what his injury was. I'll have to check on his Instagram, see what it was, but he didn't get to race. I mean, it took out a lot of guys. And then you look at the 450 the week before, like technically you could say starting grates have taken out 10 guys. Luckily, it's not any of the major stars, but it could easily have been. Hayden Deegan. Hayden is riding his ass off. This track did not suit him. Hayden Deegan rides with a certain aggression. He likes to slam it in there. This is not a track where you could bury the bike. When you come in there and slam these ruts, you would stick in them. You had to do kind of like what Jet was doing and like what James Stewart was talking about, the roll speed. You roll speed through the track, and Jason Thomas and James Stewart were nailing almost everything with the way they said you put the track together in pieces. That's exactly what you had to do in Colorado. Hayden, unfortunately, wasn't doing that. He was riding with this aggression that's fun to watch. It's almost like a Barsha-style aggression, but he was kind of burying it in the turns a little bit, and that's why he crashed while leading. But the real incident was when Hunter came up on him, and Hayden fought his ass off. He fought his ass off, and he got a little dirty. Was it that dirty? No, I loved it. I actually loved it. And James said it was dangerous. He's cross-jumping. I disagree. I feel like where he crossed, I think he knew where Hunter was, and I don't think it was a dangerous cross. It was a FU, absolutely. And Hayden's got to learn, if you're going to do that type of stuff to somebody who's coming up on you, who's faster than you, that faster rider will always have more opportunity to take you out. And Hunter did exactly that. He tried to take him out. He put him down. Like, he jumped in front of him, and, you know, that was aggressive. That Hunter doesn't normally ride that way, but if you're going to ride him the way Hayden did, that's what he's going to do. So he's got to decide when it's worth it. I don't think you do it when you're going for third or fourth. When you're going for the lead, I think it's fine. But when you're going for third or fourth, I think that was Hayden just being a little bit, I think that was some of his youth showing, and I think he'll learn from that. You know, and I had an incident like that one time. I was racing Supermoto, Copper Mountain National, 05 or 06, I can't remember. Justin Ross. I apologize to Justin Ross in advance. I called it an accident when it happened. We were in 5th or 6th. I wanted to get on the podium. He was blocking, much like Hayden Deegan was, swerving all over. To the fans, to people on the outside the track, they don't see those little subtleties when guys change lines. But man, as you're the guy behind him, you're pissed. And once we lost track of the front riders, I snapped. It was funny. My brother will laugh about this. He knows about this. There was a long straightaway into a U-turn. Ross went in there sideways. I just went straight and clobbered him. I didn't even care. I was like, we lost the front pack. I'm not getting a podium. I'm going to kill you. So I nailed him. It's funny. After the race, told everybody it was an accident. Justin Ross from Joker Racing. And I know Josh Chisholm, shout out. That was his teammate in Joker Racing. They all were like mad, and I just said, man, I'm sorry. I hit the marbles and I had to go straight. I didn't hit the marbles. I tried to kill Justin Ross. But that's what Hayden's going to have to worry about. He's going to have to worry about one of these guys getting pissed and just going straight bonsai on him. Hunter's too calculated. He's got too much going on. But if Hayden does this to the wrong guy, you do this to a Hampshire or Jordan Smith or one of these guys that just isn't having it, it's going to get ugly, and they're going to just straight torpedo him. So he's going to have to learn when to bust out this type of riding. I absolutely love it. I love his fight. I love it. That's how it's the kind of racing I like. But he's just going to have to learn a little bit better on when to use these dirty techniques that he has. And you just got to be very, very careful. When you use dirty techniques on somebody who's faster than you, they're going to have more opportunities to clean you out than you are of blocking them. So, you know what? Good on Hayden Deegan. And when they get to these softer tracks where that aggressive style is going to blast through the red buds and some of these places, he's going to get a win, maybe more. He is fast and aggressive and in good condition. So anyway, guys, remember, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.